So, shouts out to Gwenda on my YouTube channel for making such an excellent point right here on my video regarding the meaning of the charagma. She said, I've always thought the same. The chip can be removed, so how can that work? It's because people don't actually read the Bible. People are just repeating what they hear other people say about what the Bible says, and they don't read it for themselves. They don't critically think for themselves. They just believe whatever sensational thing everybody else is saying about it. You know, the entire way that the mark is being introduced should make people think back to the time when Jesus cleansed the temple. And he cleansed the temple because of the buying and selling that was going on regarding the temple sacrifices. Or rather, not just the animals used for sacrifice in the temple. So whatever this mark is that John is being shown in this vision has more to do with people's beliefs, their thoughts towards God, and their actions towards God. Hence why it's in their right hand or forehead. The people of Israel in the Old Testament were told to bind the law of God on their hands and their foreheads. Now we see the synagogue of Satan binding Satan's, you know what I'm saying, his actions, his law or lawlessness to their foreheads and their right hand. And they can't buy the sacrifices necessary unless they are completely sold out to the Sanhedrin, completely sold out to the imperial Roman system. When you look at it exegetically and historically, it makes more sense now. I want y'all to notice this in chapter 14, verse 8. And another angel, a second one, following, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who has made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her sexual immorality. Of course, we understand that Babylon the Great is apostate Jerusalem. Then another angel, a third one, followed them, saying with a loud voice, If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he will also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is mixed in full strength in the cup of his rage. And he will be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So in the context of this vision, it really doesn't appear that the people who receive the mark are remorseful about it and try to undo it. They have accepted the wrath of God, accepted their position of being under the wrath of God. So even with this, if you were to get a microchip that it was implanted underneath the skin of your hand, and you decided, I don't want this anymore, I feel so bad, you can get that thing removed. You could even rip it out yourself. Well, I imagine you'd be able to. The point is, people don't read. They don't read any of this. They don't understand any of this. It's much easier to let some person on TikTok, you know what I'm saying, who appears to be very influential, to tell you some nonsense, to tell you some goofiness, and then like chop up a bunch of news clippings and be like, see, here's something else that's funny. All this stuff is supposed to be happening in Jerusalem, you know, in and around the temple. But all we be seeing are these clips of people in America, in Amazon or whatever, scanning their hand, buying groceries and stuff. Like, y'all don't see how this is deliberately set up to deceive you, it's staged. Like, it's completely staged. You don't see how you're being set up to be deceived? Instead of people focusing on discipling their children, discipling their friends or whatever, or being discipled themselves, people want to worry about, when is Jesus coming back, and is this going to be the mark? How much time do I have before I get my act together? That's what y'all be focused on. That's what y'all be thinking about. Y'all don't be thinking about having a relationship with Jesus Christ, really being a witness for his name's sake. You guys are just worried about being forced to get some microchip put in your hands. That's what y'all worried about.